Alrighty, what's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Alrighty, let me get, hold on, actually bear with me one sec. Let me get my other computer up real quick. Alrighty, there we go. All right, so how's everybody doing? We are, what do I do here? All right, sorry, had to log into my other computer there. Alrighty, Taco Tuesdays. Yeah, you know what? We used to do Taco Tuesdays. We do more Taco Tuesdays during volleyball season. It's a whole lot easier to get it, but we are, it is what it is. Big day tomorrow. All right, awesome. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So let's jump into it. We're starting getting into that, obviously it's the second week of July. Last week was NFP. We saw some pretty decent movement on some of at least some of the crosses that I was looking at. And nothing really changed any of my biases. It was all just a bunch of continuation plays, right? So before we get into some charts, CPI data, yeah, I mean, if you don't think inflation is going to be high, there's nothing really I got to worry about. I mean, we look at what, I got to choose my words wisely so that it doesn't get censored, but just look at what the press releases out of the White House have been already. They're already, blaming the war over in Asia between two guys. Yeah, there we go. The war between two guys on the reason for inflation. So yeah, the numbers are going to be up there, I mean, the market's already pricing it in. So I'm 100% expecting it. I'm expecting dollar to continue to show bullishness. There's really nothing in the cards for us to see anything other than bullish dollar. The question is whether or not we get a temporarily, whether or not indices actually give us a pullback for us to go a little higher, which is what I'm expecting, which, something I want to see. And if we do, great. If not, I'm going to be reactive to whatever the data comes out tomorrow morning and go from it, so it's going to be pretty self-explanatory. I'm not expecting a huge change in bias because inflationary numbers are coming out. I mean, we are, especially if you live in the US, I mean, you definitely know that inflation is here and we've got a tremendous amount of, we have a huge uphill battle to overtake it. If you listen to what Jay Powell was talking about, I think it was Monday. Yeah, yesterday. If you listen to what he was talking about, I mean, the Fed's already kind of, from the meeting minutes from last week, they're already kind of toying with the idea of 3/4 point basis increase. So that's a 0.75% increase on the next FOMC. So we'll see. I don't think it's going to really, from an economic standpoint, stave off any of that. So, but some of the big things I am looking at this week tonight, we're going to have essentially the interest rate release for the New Zealand dollar. We do have CPI, which is the inflationary numbers, tomorrow morning for the US dollar. And then also tomorrow is this big bad boy right here. So we're going to get the interest rates for both the Kiwi, for the Canadian dollar, and then later on in the evening during Asian session, we are going to get the Australian jobs reports, right? So immediately for me, when I started looking at this over the weekend, not that this was a huge change from what I was doing, but I'm going to make sure that I'm going to be looking at some Kiwi and Australian pairs. I'm going to be looking at some Canadian pairs. Obviously, US dollar crosses was what I've got on my radar. So what we're going to be looking for is we're going to be looking at, for me, I am everything dollar wise, I'm bullish. So I'm looking at NU, AU, EU, and GU shorts. And Canadian wise, I'm looking at CAD-CHF buys. I'm looking at UCAD buys, and I'm looking at NCAD and ACAD continuation shorts is pretty much what I'm going to be targeting. And then, we can kind of throw in, UJ and UCHEF. UCHEF, not so much, but if it presents something, I'll take it. But definitely UJ buys. And really the only yen cross I'm really looking at right now is UJ. Everything else is kind of just in the middle of nowhere. So based off of fundamentals, based off of everything I've been looking at the last couple of weeks, I mean, this is really what I'm going forward with for this week and what I'm kind of going to be targeting. So that's kind of like how I've started to build out my primary watch list for the week. All right. So going into that, now we can dive into the charts, right? We can see exactly, I guess put two and two together and try to figure out where I want to take some of these entries out of, right? If we look over at poor US 30, man, she made me cry today. All right. Nothing has changed on the dollar side, right? I don't even need to go to a higher time frame because we're just reaccumulating. So what I want to see now is, do we come back into last week, specifically NFP, right? Do we come back into NFP's price action? And that's what I'm kind of holding out hope for. I want to see, do we come back into this last continuation move? If we can get something here, that's what I want to take to the next high. All right. And realistically, I mean, we're talking a couple percentage points on DXY here. So if I know what I'm looking at with DXY, I'm expecting a little bit of a pullback. I really don't want us to make a new high. That's going to kind of put a damper on what I want to do. I really want it to come a little lower. And hopefully with some of the releases that we get tomorrow, we can get that, right? But if I know what I'm doing with DXY, I know exactly how I'm trading EU, right? And EU is going to be the same exact thing. I'm looking for us to come back into last week's, specifically NFP's price action, right? This is what I want to see us come back into. Lines up pretty nicely. If, maybe this is the accumulation that we got here that gets us to come up in this area. And that's where I want to short my next move, right? I'm really not interested in trying to buy this. I think the hedge against the dollar at this point is just something that I really don't want to, it's not something I want to do. It's not something I want to waste time, effort, and equity to do it. So I'm just going to continue to let it do its thing, right? Give me a sec here. All right, there we go. So EU, that's kind of my cards, right? I've got my alert sitting somewhere around here, which is the 50% of this. And if we see price kind of walk itself up in there, that's where I'm going to be waiting for my next shorting opportunity, right? Overall, I mean, it's no secret. We've been shorting EU for a very long time. This thing has just been selling off for a very, very long time. And I'll continue to short it because we have no signs of strength, right? There's no reason for me to want to do anything with it other than short the crap out of it, right? So EU is definitely something I'm going to continue to short, and same thing with GU, right? I'm still holding all of my shorts on GU. I'm holding the one from last week, which is right up here. I'm sorry, from 2 weeks ago. I'm holding the one from last week. And I did not take the one on Friday from NFP. I was kind of done trading by the time news came out. But same play kind of goes with it, right? We've redistributed, right? And this is just the continuation move. So out of that redistribution, this was obviously the area where sellers got into the market and created that new low. So I need us to come back and mitigate this, right? Ideally, I want to see, can we get some kind of price action to push us back up into this area for us to just make another low? And I'll be targeting a new low. Overall, I'll be targeting, all of the shorts that I am getting into. I talked about taking out the March 2020 low, which is right here, right? So I do want to take this. I want to start to get into that 1.14 area. If you paid attention to what Euro USD did today, where did we come into? We came into the good old flat. Where is it? There we go. Came into good old 1.0000. So that's where price accumulated from. this to me is just indication of sellers just taking profits. So I have no desire to try to buy this accumulation. It has no, for me, it has no bearing, has nothing I want to do with it. But what I will do is, again, look for the continuation moves. And if this ends up being a redistribution, right? So like on EU, if we end up making a new low, ideally I'll probably be looking at this distribution for a continuation move to go shorter with it. Right. So GU, same thing. I'm targeting a new low. I would like to get a little higher. But I mean, if we don't, I'm not too upset. I just don't like this price action in here on this 5-minute time frame. There is absolutely nothing I want to deal with this. Right. Nothing in there is really kind of telling me any of any organization where I would rather us come back up here. Okay. So GU and EU, not as clean, but what is remarkably clean is AU and NU, right? So, from a more of an intraday perspective, we've just been shorting this, right? I mean, we've been selling this off, just beautiful price action all in here. For probably the last 2 weeks, we've just seen really, really clean price action. So for me, the next area that I'm looking at, we came in last week. This was NFP, came right into our area of supply, our distribution, where we had a little divergence between AU and NU, which caused the new low. We distributed. That's my UTAD. And that UTAD caused a new low. So for me, measuring out that entire UTAD, this is the 50 and here's the 80. I need to see us give some kind of schematic in here. This is where I want price to give me some kind of price action so I can continue to short this. And it would be something for me, at least, for me to get involved in a trade, it's got to be a 1 to 10. And let's just say we get into that 50 range to a new low. I mean, we're at 123 pips. So it means I got to have a stop loss under 12 pips for it to be worth it, right? So we do have we have location and real estate for me to do that, and that's what I'll do. Explaining what the yellow box means and the blue box, just some session times that I look for. Yellow is my Asian session where I'm looking, and then blue is the area, the time frame I like to get into during New York session. Specifically indices. That's where I like to trade during indices. So I'm just it's always a nice reminder. I don't have to look at the time and try to match things up. That's my window. Okay. So that's really what I'm going to be waiting for. Ideally I'd like to see some Kiwi news, get the Australian and New Zealand dollars up. And if we can get that into this area, much like we saw, on everything else, maybe we get up here and we get either Frankfurt or London that sweeps that Asian liquidity, creating a schematic. We get the break, play the mitigation, and down we go, right? So that's really what I'm going to be targeting on AU. I like, again, this to me is super, super clean. Just look back and follow the market cycle, walking this thing down over and over and over again. So just really, really clean price action. And I'll continue to play the continuation move until it's going to tell me not to. All right. So that's NU. I'm sorry, that was AU. And on the NU side, same exact thing, right? Again, we've just been shorting this probably since early June. Well, way before that, but the last leg, right? We've been shorting this from June, and we can see. I mean, we're just continuing this. The market cycle is just continuing on the redistribution after redistribution after redistribution. So I'm going to just follow the trend with it. What we can see is we have a very clean, there we go. We have a very clean schematic, right? There's our manipulation. That's our UTAD. And that is what caused the new low, right? So what I need to do now is, obviously I like this as my slingshot area, right? We have really, really clean price action. My suggestion, not that I'm going to put a limit order on there, but you've got a really clean type 1 schematic that sweeps Frankfurt price action during London. So I do like the area, lines up really nice with confluence off the 50%. So if we do get up into this area on NU, that's where I want to short from. And if we get up a little higher into this 80 area, right, measuring out this, that's what I want to really get into. Okay. So either of these areas, my alert is sitting right here around like 6160. We get up into this area, I'm just going to be waiting for lower time frame confirmations to ultimately get into a schematic and short this thing down, right? You could see like the low is sitting right here just below 6,100. So if we get anywhere, 6,170, 6,180, that's a 70, 80 pip move to the downside. And then from there, I know that NU, AU, especially if I'm waiting for lower time frame schematic, you're going to get under a 6-7 pip stop. So it's going to be worth it. And then bigger picture, same thing, much like all of these dollar crosses, where do I want to take it? I'm coming and taking out, COVID low, right? There's no reason for me not to expect us to, whether or not this gets us to maybe give a pullback to then come lower, like I said, I really don't care how we get there. I'm just going to be targeting those lows until we get to the point where I can see evidence of buyers coming back in. And quite honestly, we just don't see that, right? I mean, ever since like the middle of last year, summertime-ish, I think this was the deciding factor when we ended up distributing and breaking that, coming back in, redistributing and then just redistributing. So, following NU, following AU, a lot of you guys that have been on here for a while, we've been just shorting these. I mean, it's been, I haven't had a lot of positions myself on NU and AU, but the ones I have had, have been really nice, and the ability to hold them long-term is really, easy. We're not seeing any evidence of buyers coming into this market. So NU, this is really what I'm going to be looking at, right? Again, super clean schematic right here. And I'm just waiting for us to get, hopefully we get some news tonight on the Kiwi dollar to get us up here. It's not that far off. I mean, we're talking, relatively about 50 pips. So that's something that can happen during Asian, and then, maybe get it set up for us during London crossover time. All right. So that's rounding up the dollar crosses, and then everything with the dollar. So like UCAD, I was very eager to play UCAD buys. I'm still holding my buys from the last 2 weeks. But really what I wanted to see was I wanted to see us come back into our area of demand, right? Specifically in this area. Doesn't look like we're going to get there, right? If you look at what we did during NFP right here, we started to see signs of accumulation. We broke order flow. We reaccumulated. So this is still on the table. I mean, we could still come down here, especially with Canadian news tomorrow. And I would definitely take an accumulation from that. If we do not come lower, right, what I'm going to be looking for is I'm going to be looking for confirmations of just reaccumulation, right? So as it stands right now, we were in this leg, price came down, and we're still here. But if we do end up making this high, we're now going to be in this leg, and this would be my slingshot. So this is going to be a target area for me. How do you calculate your, whoa, what do you mean? How do I calculate my 12 pip stop loss? Yeah, you're going to have to, like for my position size, is that what you mean? What would you like to see to make you switch over to buys for NU? Oh, geez, for NU? We would need, let's just see. So for me to look for buys on NU, hold on. We would need to break this high right here. So we would have to come, well, hold on. Maybe let me go a little higher. Let's see. All right. So for me to look for buys on NU, yeah, realistically, I don't even think I'd be there. So distribution, we tag in. So this is what's maintaining that leg. We break this. So we break here. So this is, okay. So realistically for me, I would need a break above whatever this would be, like 7,100. Hold on, what is this? We would have to break 70.50. Yeah, we'd have to break this for me to want to get in buys. Yeah, that's what would happen. Yes. So how do I calculate my 12 pips? Yeah, I would just, for my position size, I mean, I use a position size calculator built into my MT5, but that's all it is. Figure out whatever account size you have go in and figure out your NU lot size based off the calculator. Yeah. Yes, for my position size. I mean, there's a bunch of position size calculators. Like I said, I mean, I use the one that's built into my MT5, but I mean, you can use the one on whatever it is, like my Forex fund or whatever the heck this one is, my FX book, right? I haven't used this in so long. My FX book. Yeah, there you go. Now this is the one I use. This is the one I used to use back in the day. What is it? There you go. Position size calculator. Yeah. So you find NU. I mean, yeah, this is stuff you just find on the internet, man. You know, whatever account size you're using. So, you know, say you got a 200K account, you know, for me, I'm doing 1/4% risk, or yeah, or you just do it off of dollar amount, right? So 1/4% risk is $500, and, you know, 12 pip stop plus your spread. So NU's typically like, you know, what, 7 pipettes, 8 pipettes. So let's just round it up to 13 pips and calculate it, right? I mean, that's your lot size, 3.85. So yeah. Yeah. So I would need to break this. I'd have to break this for me to even contemplate looking at buys. For me, it's all sells all the way, and I'm pretty confident we're going to break that low. Yeah. How do you consider that a POI is fully, wait, how do I consider if a POI has been fully mitigated? You got to look at the price action that happened. Yeah. Look to see if you got a market cycle in your alleged area that you're suspecting was mitigated. If you have a market cycle, then it's been mitigated. And then do I always use the whole move and not the last buy to sell or the last sell to buy candle? It depends. Yeah, it depends. The last sell to buy or the last buy to sell really doesn't mean anything for me. It depends on, you know, do we have a manipulation? Is it a accumulation? Is it a distribution? Do we have a spring, a UCAD? You know, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, I would say this, the last 5 years of me trading, there is no black and white answer, right? There is no, it's got to come to 50%, the whole move, you know, on a Tuesday, on a cloudy day with the wind out of the northwest at 12 knots, right? There is no black and white answer. You've just got to look at the price action. I mean, that's probably the best answer you're going to get is if you have a completed market cycle and that market cycle creates a new low, then yeah, it's been mitigated. That's it. For me, that if we have a new market cycle, the new market cycle is what's holding it. So, okay. Yeah. But anyway, on NU, I do like shorts on it. 100%. I like the shorts. I was talking about UCAD. So UCAD, if we do come lower into this price action here, I'm definitely a buyer. And if we do not come lower, what I need to get in is we need to trade higher tonight. And the one thing I need to see is, like I was talking about, right? So from an order flow perspective, we were here, right? We broke, we came in, now we need to break a new high. And realistically, I want us to take out this high. That's why that alert is sitting up there. You know, and if we do take out this high, we've just confirmed an entire reaccumulation here, right? So that's my game plan, is at that point, if let's just say hypothetically we come straight up, we now have a new order flow leg, and this becomes my first point of interest. And then this becomes the slingshot, which is my second point of interest, right? So coming back in, I'll be probably looking at this morning's price action because we do have a really decent accumulation that happened in there. I'll be looking at that for continuation of the upside, or I'd be looking to see again, you know, mitigation. This was the sell, this was the buy. So we know that this was the manipulation. And if you look at it, right, what do we have? We have a type 1 accumulation, right? You have your distribution up here, right? Here's your distro, there's your creek, here's your 1, 2, 3 drives. Well, technically you could say that's your other drive, right? So it really doesn't matter because I'm playing this as a reaccumulation. And where's my shakeout? My shakeout is this right here, right? So that would be my shakeout. And, you know, now I just need us to break the high. We break the high and I'll be looking for long-term buys on UCAD again. If not, I wait for the pullback, wait for it to come a little lower. All right. So that's my game plan with UCAD. Again, I'm still holding my buys from down here, right? I'm still holding my buys from down here. I do like the price action we're getting here. Could it be a very elongated distribution? It could be, but what's the one thing it's missing? It's signs of weakness, right? No weakness. So I'm going to continue to buy it and, continue to pull this, up into the higher time frame areas where eventually we may look for our shorts. On the UJ side, so same thing, right? I mean, UJ's been bullish till the cows come home, right? I really feel sorry for, what was it? Hold on. We looked at it. I think we looked at it the other day. Where's UJ? So here's UJ. So 76% of everybody that has their accounts linked to my FX book is shorting. So, that's disheartening to think that 76 people or 76%, look at that, over 6,000 lots are shorting UJ. I always get a crack out of this. The average short position is only 1,000 pips in drawdown. And the average long position is only 338 pips, which makes no sense to me, but whatever. So congrats for everybody who is, in this 78%. You took 1 to 18. Was it out of the buy on, I'm guessing, I'm only going to assume it's out of the buy out of that right there, right? Is that what you took? I would assume that's where it's at, because that's where this in here were the buys. Yeah. So, on UJ, there was, if you want to back test a decent price action, it's in there. You can go give it a look. Let's see. There she is right there. So what do you got? You've got, accumulation, right? You got accumulation. You got your, Asian liquidity. You got one drive, you got two drives, you got three drives, and then you got your spring, right? And then in your spring, you have a type 1 on the seconds time frame that, for all the 80% haters, I love when people tell me, why do I like the 80%? That's what it was right there. Came right into the 80% of your spring. So if you took it off the 50, it was a 1 to 67, up to the target area where we broke the next high. So yeah, but really clean price action. And now, this, right? This is still on the table for me. This is something I'm still waiting for price to come back and mitigate. So, what I do want to see is I want to see, do we come, all right, let's see, here we go. So do we come back into the reaccumulation? Hold on, let me clear out this. Do we come back into the reaccumulation that causes the break, which is right here? Or do we come back and, into this 80%, which has tons of confluence out of that price action in there, right? So either way, I'll be looking for a buy. You can see like 135.05 is the 80% of where I really want price to come into. So, we're about 180 pips away from that. Do I think we could potentially get some fundamentals to get us down here? I think this week we could. This is, ideally, what's my favorite day to trade? It's Thursdays, right? So, I'm not gonna call the home run to left field, but if I was a betting man, I would say that Thursday New York session. I can guarantee you this: if Thursday New York session, this thing gives me a type 1 right here, I can guarantee I'll be participating in it. So what's my next target? Well, my very first target, when we do get here, it's going to be to take out this high here. But overall, like where I'm trying to take all my UJ positions to. So this is the possible reversal point, right? 140.250, right? So we're, relatively like 300 pips away from that. So 140.250 is where I want to take buys up to. Do you recommend back testing by going back on mainly only in well, no, you got to do it from top down. You know what I mean? Otherwise, you're gonna drive yourself crazy. you know, for me to get on a lower time frame, I've got to have a reason from a higher time frame to get to the lower time frame, you know. So it's got to be the complete picture, right? It's got to be the complete, you know, you've got to build the analysis of why price is going to spin on a dime at that price point or that area, you know, and that's essentially what creates that as your point of interest. And then from there, from there, once you have that point of interest, go into lower timeframes and just read the price action. You know, I can tell you that in the early times of my trading, I was told, you know, follow price action, watch the price action. And whether or not the people that were telling me that really knew what the hell they were talking about, just because knowing now what I know, I don't think they did, but the advice was true. You know, once you understand the price action, and a lot of you guys on here that, you know, have been in one of my back testing sessions or stuff like that, I mean, you guys can definitely attest to, once you understand the price action and what the heck price is actually doing, you know, understanding the candles themselves, the reactions, and the actual price points and why they're doing what they're doing. Once you get that price action understanding, it's pretty simple to understand where and why you're going to get into the next position, right? And then, of course, how to manage it, right? That's the hardest part, is the management part. On UCAD, when do you consider needing to break the high from an order flow perspective? Isn't it bullish from, hold on, let's see. Give me a sec. All right, so on UCAD, isn't it bullish from 29.36? So hold on, 29.36, 29.30. Yep, yeah. So we are correct. Yep. So we are from this right here. This is our current order flow. Yeah. Yeah, this is our current order flow. Yeah, and then once we do this, right, then it becomes that, which is, remember, it's only one level of order flow, because, you know, once we say we get up here, well, now you'd have, let's say that price, you know, hold on. Let's say that price does this here and then here. So you'd be order flow from this. You'd also be order flow from here, right? Order flow has many, it's like an onion, right? Many layers. It's like an ogre. So yeah. So when do you consider needing to break the high? Well, I don't need to break the high, right? If it doesn't break this high, what am I looking at? I'm looking at this area here. But in order for me to look at anything from here, it needs to break the high, right? Because otherwise this is not important to me. This has no relevance, it's not a point of interest. Okay. So in order for me to play out a current price action, it would have to do something. It all goes back to cause and effect. So, yep. Yeah. Do I have backtesting videos on YouTube? I doubt it. I mean, I might have some really old ones that kind of give you an understanding, but yeah, I mean, they're pretty long. I mean, on average, they probably go like 3.5 hours. So yeah, and the problem with that is there's sometimes some personal stuff on it that I just don't really want to go through and censor out and stuff like that. Sometimes I don't have time for it. So, is it possible to enter before the mitigation? Is it possible? So what you want to do is you want to enter on the manipulation. I mean, realistically, if the manipulation, which is technically a mitigation of something to the left, if you can find that and reason to get in, sure. You know, for me though, I'm always going to get the best entry off the mitigation. Yeah. I was just wondering if it went back down from here, if you would still consider taking the buy from the order flow. Yeah. I mean, so if we come down like this into here, would I look for the buy? I mean, I probably won't, in order for me to play, yeah, I mean, I honestly won't, just because I've looked in this price action, and we've mitigated. So there's really nothing that I would play out of here. Shut it. All right. Sorry about that. Stupid dogs. Alrighty. Okay. So, oh yeah. You guys have never heard my voice, man. Yeah. They were shenanigans. Okay. We needed to wake people up, man. Needed to wake people up. All right. So, yeah, I wouldn't look for anything here, honestly. If we came down now, I mean, I'd be here. I would be more interested in this right here. I'd be more interested in this. So that's how I would look at that point right there. Now, if we go up, yeah, if we go up, then that's where I'd be looking. All right, there we go. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. All right. So that's UCAD. We talked about UJ, and then the last one was UCHEF. And again, it's not on the top of my list just because I prefer UJ. I prefer, a lot of the other dollar crosses. The problem with UCHEF is this. So realistically, we're still in this leg over here, right? All of this is just noise. It's just order flow. Now, when I look at what's going on, bigger picture, this is looking like a large distribution, right? Like this is my climax, this is my rally, this is my secondary test, my MSAO. Do I think we're going to get, maybe an up thrust, come down, maybe a UTAD? Sure. So I'll play the game on UCHEF. We're probably 2 to 3 weeks from even getting to the point where I would say that we're at an area where I'd be contemplating a distribution. But my problem in doing that is this, right? So, and this is why I don't feel like this is going to be just a distribution to get us lower. I think this is going to end up being a reaccumulation. So like what I'm talking about is something like this. Maybe this is what gets us into here, and then we reaccumulate to take out all these highs. Right. That's kind of my thought process with UCHEF. Now, the reason I'm not liking, the buys, not that I don't like buys on it. I do like the buys on it, but we're just not mitigating anything, from the time that I really started looking at buys at the beginning of July, which was, like 2 weeks ago in here, we just haven't seen mitigation. We did see a little bit of mitigation coming back in here, but after that, other than NFP, there really hasn't been anything for me to really play on UCHEF. It's just a matter of just letting price, run away from me. And, if it's going to do that, great. So this is why it's not going to be on my high priority list to really do anything with. What do you have here on Odd Chef and GJ? Sure, bro. Well, let's see. Odd Chef. I haven't. Well, funny. I just looked at Odd Chef today. What do we have? So 5 minute and a 30-second. Yeah, but so what are yesterday or today? You talking about the distro today or yesterday? I didn't trade yesterday. Yesterday was Monday for me. I tried catching the distro today, man. It just never came back. But yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, but so what's the trade based off of? I see your 5 minute chart. So what's this point of interest here? Let's see. Yeah, no, it didn't mitigate it. It's all right though. I'll just wait for the buy. I mean, I want to catch the buy on it anyway. The buy is going to get me to the big sell area. All right, so 6,600. Where is six? So here. Um, oh, you know what? I think we looked at this. I thought I had it marked up. I guess I don't. All right. So 6,600. So I guess my question is, you took it off of what? Yeah, like what got you to the what gets you to the 5-minute chart at 6,600? You know, so it looks like it comes into that London price action, which okay, so it's the so this is your original order flow break. So you're here, and then you kind of do this. So I'm guessing, all right, so maybe like the slingshot, maybe. And then let's see. This was your POI. Yeah, but what? Yeah, okay. All right. So price comes in during New York. So is yeah, I mean, I'm guessing this is what you were looking at. So trading range, so climax, test and B, spring, BOS. The only thing that sucks is I guess it would have taken you out at break even, right? If you would have taken some partials. I mean, it probably gave you at the most a 1 to 8 before it took you out, right? Uh, you didn't put it on break even? Well, you didn't. How come? I mean, I would have been at reduced risk personally, but so what did you do with it? How'd you manage it? I mean, I'll tell you how I would have managed it. I would have had so I would have been what are we talking here? 1 to 5. Man, that sucks. Hmm. Normally what I do is I pay myself the risk when we break it. So let's say I risk 250 on this trade. I pay myself the risk, or if I'm going to reduce risk and I don't like the R to R, So I'm going to reduce risk to the bottom of this wick right here, because there's no reason for price to go below that if that was the mitigation. And then just figure out whatever that risk would be. So, you know, if 250 bucks into 1.3, right? Just figure out what that is, and then know that you've got 0.6. So it's actually half. So, you know, by putting reduced risk and we break this high, I probably pay myself $125, which is half of what I risked. That way, if it does come back down, you know, I lose 125 on the stop loss, but it just cancels itself out. Yeah. But I'll tell you this, off of this move, there's no way that I can justify in my journal why on a 1.3 pip stop and price was at a 1 to 8 that I wouldn't be at reduced risk or break even. Because if I'm up a 1 to 8 and price ends up redistributing, how do I justify that I was up a 1 to 8 and I took a loss? You know, I was up, what is this? Yeah. So if I risk $250 on this trade, how do I justify that I was up 2153.85 and then I ended up negative 250? You know, for me, I can't do that, you know. Let's see. How do you work out the risk amount in terms of what you need to sell? You mean like close out for partials? So sometimes it's really damn easy. You know, so like the way my MT5 is set up, I have that position size calculator. So it'll split it into 4 entries, right? So, you know, if I know that I risk 250 on this trade and position, you know, so you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 positions, you know, let's just say position 1 is up, you know, $265, then what I do is I just close out half the trade. So if this trade is, say, you know, 2.5 lots, I'm just going to close out 1.25 lots of it. Like I don't get down to like the penny on it. And then I don't know if you've seen, like when you take partials on MT5, you know, you can just play around with the lot size, you know, like if you go and you close out, say you're up, you know, I don't know, say you're up $600 and you've got, you know, a 3.25 lot and you're like, well, I want to close out 250, you know, so I'll go and I'll say, okay, you know, let me see what 1.65 lots looks like. And that, you know, if that's, you know, it'll show me that I'll close out $263. All right. Well, if I want to get closer to 250, maybe I'll drop that at like 1.61 or something like that. But it's more like trial and error. Now, one thing I can do is on my MT5 with that position size calculator, I can drag my line. So like if I have my stop loss here, right, I'll have numbers over here. It'll tell me point value, like pip, dollar per pip value. It'll tell me what my risk is. And if I drag it up to like, say, this low right here, it'll tell me, okay, so out of my total risk, you know, I've got $126.21 at risk off of here. So I know that, all right, if I wanted a true break even, you know, when we're somewhere in this price action up here, I'm just going to close out that dollar amount. That way, if it comes all the way back and hits my stop loss, you know, it's a wash, you know, I haven't lost anything. But that's how I kind of do it. So you're in the trade, you're still testing the best confirmations in the demo. So I'm just holding the trades as much as possible. I end up not focusing so much on the management. All right. Yeah. I mean, sounds good. I will tell you this. There's going to be a time. There is going to be a time where once you work the entry confirmations and all that, I mean, you're not doing it wrong. I mean, don't think that I'm telling you you're doing it wrong. But I will tell you that the management side of it is way harder than finding the confirmations and finding the trade. So, you know, just always have that in the back of your head, the management part. You know, that would be my advice to you. But yeah, absolutely. You know, follow your own process. Do it at your pace and under your check, your checkoffs, right? Have a check sheet and go through the process of how you want to do it. But I will tell you that have those things in the back of your head. Write it down. That's something I used to always have to do, is write down, okay, you know what, I gotta think about this. Would I let, because there's so many scenarios in the management. We just went off, off one where, pay myself the risk, leave it at stop loss, pay myself, reduce risk, take some partials out of it, however you want to do it. There's so many scenarios on how you can manage it. And I'll be honest, like, a lot of you guys will laugh at it, because I know a lot of you guys that have seen how I trade and how I'll manage it. And there's 1,000 scenarios for 1,000 different ways that I would do it. So, can I go over gold? Geez, man. I don't think gold has changed. I think I'm still bearish on gold, but I don't think gold has changed in months. If we have time, we can do it. Is that closed at market? Wait, is that closed at market or limit? Wait, is that closed at market or limit? I don't know what you mean by that. Don't use MT. I trade direct on TradingView with a Wanda. So, oh yeah. Okay. So all right. I do. I used to trade. I'll tell you right now. I used to trade. So I use a Wanda as my currency broker, right? And it sucks. I'm right there with you. The whole first in, first out, how they average everything out and all that. But I stopped trading on TradingView because I accidentally closed out a position that cost me a freaking ton of money because I was marking up the chart on TradingView, and I accidentally, because if you guys don't know, when you're trading on TradingView, like over here on this right, you'll have like your lines, and you'll have like a little X and all that stuff. And I accidentally, I don't even know how the hell I did it, but I accidentally closed out of a position, and I did it more than once. So either I'm just an idiot and don't know how to use TradingView with all of that on there, but yeah, I missed out on a lot of money from it. So I don't use it anymore. What I do is I just use, Awanda has their web-based app. So I'll just take the trades off the web base on another screen, and I'll mark up on TradingView. So paying myself the risk. So yeah, if just to pay myself the risk, it's typically market, it's market execution, right? Because I'll be closing out a partial of an order. My TPs I'll have set as limit orders, so that when they hit that price, they'll close out automatically. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it is what it is. Yeah. All right. So moving over, we'll go over to CAD-CHF, right? Like I said, I have mixed feelings on A-CHF and NZD-CHF, because in my opinion, like when we look, not even at a micro level, when we look at a higher time frame, when you compare what NZD-CHF is doing, there we go. This is what I marked up this morning. When I look at what NZD-CHF has done, I'd be more intrigued in shorting from here or here to take it lower than doing any kind of buys. Yeah, for me, I'm not trying to buy this. Yeah, and I'll be honest, like I have no desire to do anything with it. NZD-CHF and A-CHF have high spreads, and they're NZD-CHF is definitely the weaker. It's the leader, where A-CHF is the laggard. So I'd be more inclined to play NZD-CHF than A-CHF, but yeah, it is what it is. Okay, so CAD-CHF though, CAD-CHF is one I'm looking at. I've been very bullish on CAD-CHF, especially towards the middle of June, especially when we came into our demand area, right? We came into the reaccumulation. I liked it really very much. Obviously, my targets are going to be to make some new highs up here. And what I do want to see though is I need to see this get a pullback, right? Price in here gave some really nice price action. And we're starting to see the distribution now. What I do want to see is I want to see us come back into, and again, we've got a reason tomorrow I know this looks like a lot of real estate, but it's not. I mean, we're at 75.36, and where I would like to get, we're talking about 110 pips, right? From current price action. It's 90 to about 113 pips where I want to start buying from. So, this ultimately is your reaccumulation. I would like for us to come into that Canadian jobs report price action right in here. So if we can get in here, this is where I want to take my next leg up, and obviously I'll partial out here. I'll, and then start making my way up to those highs. That's really what I want to do with CAD-CHF, and I like it. I was toying this morning. I didn't take this trade. This was just like back testing, but son of a gun. Look at that. Well, this was changing. All right. So this doesn't even happen in real life. Yeah. So this was, it was just a clean distro. I saw it. I ended up taking it on a demo account. Just, I was playing around with it, but it gave some pretty clean price action. And oh, wow. Yeah. This doesn't happen in real life. This wick right here. I doubt it. I don't. Yeah, no, there ain't nothing in there. Okay. What confluences do you have for that limit order on CAD-CHF? That limit order, which limit order? This one here? This one here? No, it was a limit order that I was going to take, but it's no longer a limit order. So yeah. Yeah, no. Well, for me now, we just need to get somewhere in here for me to take the buy. So this was the limit order that I wanted to play when we were here last week, but she never came back for it. So at this point, it's done. Yeah. So CAD-CHF, like I said, my alert sitting right up here, looking for buys once we break that low. So we come on down. I'm looking right in this area here out of this price action. So if we reaccumulate, man, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do anything if we reaccumulate from there. Yeah, I don't know if I want to do anything if we reaccumulate. So the problem, it all depends on how we reaccumulate, right? So I will say this, the only way I take a reaccumulation is if tomorrow the news, Canadian news comes out, right? And we get this. So we get, if we get some kind of shakeout, right? What is this? This is, so yeah, I'll take it back. So we get some kind of shakeout that plays into here, and then jump our creek, break the high. Yeah, then I'll play out of this. But I need a shakeout, right? If we just do this right now, yeah, this to me, I'm not too happy with it. So I'd want to see some kind of manipulation, and ideally I'd want to see it from tomorrow's news. So if tomorrow's news creates a shakeout and then we reaccumulate after that, I'll play the mitigation of it. Yeah. 73,700. 73,700. Does the spring shakeout take your eye on CAD-CHF for a buy from June 24th? You talking about down here? Yeah, but not anymore. Only when this becomes the extreme of the leg, right? So yeah, like at this point, we have, so we broke here, right? This reaccumulation that happens here with that right there, this for me was the, for all intents and purposes, like the mitigation of this move, right? So this is done for me once we've reaccumulated, and then once we reaccumulate again, right? I'm not interested in anything down here until we break the high, and now this becomes what maintains the leg. If that makes sense. I don't want, like where we're at right now, I don't want us to I don't want us to break through the ice, because I'll tell you right now, if we start coming for this, I'm pretty sure this will be a redistribution, right? And part of the reason that I feel that way with it is, you know, like I said, I mean, market cycle, right? We have our reaccumulation that taps into 50% of this. And then what do? We mitigate out and reaccumulate again. So. I'd have thought that there is liquidity to be taken while mitigating there. Yeah, but so what liquidity would you, what liquidity would be taken? I mean, you're talking about like the trend line? $74,200, which is here, 74,200 in here, 73,800. Yeah, you're talking about this, right? Yeah, but just look at what it's done, right? So we know that price attempts a distribution and then gives a shakeout, and we have an accumulation there, which then reaccumulates mitigating, which then reaccumulates mitigates, and then we jump our creek, right? Does that schematic, for me, that schematic looks extremely clean, right? So there's no liquidity there. I mean, this tells me that this was the final, these were the buy orders that came in. This was the mitigation of those buy orders. And then we've mitigated. So the only reason that liquidity needs to be taken is they need to fill more buy orders. When I see reaccumulation and reaccumulation, that's not telling me that we forgot to fill more buy orders. No, that's telling me that buy orders have been filled. They're mitigating and they're just building upon orders now. So for them to come in, like I said, from my perspective, if they come and they sweep out this here, right, it means that they don't have enough interest or they don't have enough support to take this market higher, and they're redistributing from here. And then this distribution is going to be what they're going to need to come back to mitigate. And then they're going south with it. So I don't want that to happen, because then my bias is going to have to change on CAD-CHF momentarily, and then I'll have to wait for us to get further lower in some areas for me to take the buy on it. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, on the CAD-CHF front, I mean, this is the area, this is where I'm looking. So, and then rounding out some of the CAD pairs, ACAD and NCAD. Yeah, I mean, NCAD and ACAD have been pretty nice. Granted, they haven't given the greatest entries. I mean, we've just been seeing them just sell off. If you look at most recent price action, we just redistributed. And what I want to see now is, so we ended up redistributing. This was the confirmation of redistribution, right? This was your attempt at a weak accumulation. We distribute with a little bit of divergence, because this ACAD ends up giving a UCAD. And then from there, what do? We mitigate really nicely. We redistribute, and then this is the last manipulation. So from an order flow perspective, right, we're here on the order flow side. This is the slingshot right here. And, ideally what I'd like to see is, we have a really good manipulation from the previous night's London session, where we sweep Asian liquidity and redistribute here. So, there's a lot of confluence in this area. If we get up in here, which, hopefully we do, I'd like to sell from here, or I'd like to sell, anywhere from, this is the mitigation that I want to play, so get a schematic, make a new low. That's ideally what I want to do with NCAD. And then ACAD is the same exact thing, right? ACAD, we've got just really, really clean price action, right? I mean, you can see we've just been selling off, this thing. I try to catch something here. Nope. Try to catch something here out of this, and we come just flipping short of where I wanted to catch it. So then we distribute, which is great. I wanted to take it off the 80 because the 50 was just too big of a stop loss. And we end up coming back, into the 50, making a new low. So obviously I'm looking to play out of this. And what do we get? We get a fantastic distribution right here with your manipulation on Friday from Canadian news. So, ideally this is what I'm waiting on. I'm waiting on us coming right back up to 50 or 80 of this. Anywhere in here, anything above 88,600 gets me in a schematic to short this off. Right. So this is going to be my very first point of interest. I'm going to wait to see, can news get us up here? Can we get some kind of price action? But you've got, like I said, you've got a really clean distribution. This taps perfectly into the 80% of my point of interest. And then we just melt off on Friday from Canadian news. So this is something I'm definitely looking at. I want to see if I can, no, bro. No, that's 11 pips, man. That's 11 pips. There's no way. There's no way. I don't think if I put an 11 pip stop loss like that in my journal, I think my journal would like error out and ask me to confirm that. So, I mean, it meets the criteria, right? Because it'd be a 1 to 13, but now I'm just going to play the schematic. The problem is like ACAD and NCAD already have high spreads. So, ideally I just want to get us into this area, and if you just look back at, like, I don't know, just say the last 4 weeks of ACAD or NCAD, it's not lacking giving you schematics, right? It's not lacking giving you schematics. There's plenty of schematics that it gives. You just got to be around for it. You've got to be there watching it. So, on this is my X marks the spot. We get up above here, anything in this, I'm going to be shorting it. So I do like it. It's definitely doing a pretty nice little, continuation to the downside. And, overall, what am I targeting? Same thing. I want to get down, this next go, I want to get down into here, right? Because this is that reaccumulation that kind of started this whole thing. But like the 84 to 8,500 mark is where I want to get. So it's about another 200 pips to the downside is where I want to see us kind of get down to. So that's ACAD and NCAD. I really have no desire to do much with EG, but I know a lot of people this morning were looking at EG. So, EG is in an area, a 1 to 215. Let's see. A 1 to 215 on ECAD. Yeah, man, that's awesome. Yeah. Looks pretty clean. Did you, let's see, hold on. So that was the break. Oh, it sucks that this happens at changeover, because that would have been, I know, I don't even have to go into a lower time frame. I could tell you that that's the 80% of the schematic that's in there. Too bad that this happens and we don't have a manipulation, but do we have, let's see, so we break. You took it on FTMO, awesome. All right, so we break, let's see, hold on. Oh, that was the play right there. This is New York session, right? So let's see. Looky, looky, looky. Is that the one you're talking about right here, right? That's the one I would have, and that's the one I would have grabbed. So let's see. So we're at what point do we redistribute? So we redistribute here. Boom, redistribute here. And then, so this is London Open. Where do we come into London Open? We come into, yeah, all right. So we come into the 80% of it. Yeah, what would this have been? This would have been a 1.6 pip stop. So what's it at now? 84.43. No, what's it at? Where is ECAD? ECAD is at 30.72. Oh, wow. It's like, so that's a 1 to 380 out of that one. All right. So where's my next play? My next play would have been, so my next play would have been coming back into this after we break this low here. So, oh, that would have, that just misses, right? Okay. But here's your, what time is this at? Heart of New York, 10 a.m. So there is your next entry right here off of that. 3.3 pips. And that would take you to, what I say, 0.73. So it'd be currently sitting at a 1 to 182. And then I don't know if it does it come back after this? Because I would be, as soon as we broke this. So as soon as we broke that, I'd be looking now at the redistro part of it. And I'll tell you what, I probably split orders off of that and off of the 80. Does it come back or no? It does? Yeah. So there's Asian. So I'd want it to sweep Asian. Oh, there she is. Look at that. Bam. What time is that at? That's 9:54. That was it right there. So I mean, this is where I'd want to see price come into. And she gives a super clean accumulation right here. That's your UTAD. And oh, just misses the 80, but you get filled on the 50. I don't know what the 50 would have been. What would have the 50 been? 50 would have been 2.8. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and there's a ton of trades on ECAD that could have played. I mean, it's just, dude, listen, when you're playing continuation moves, just play the continuation move until it says no. Just keep playing the redistro after redistro after redistro. Price comes into your point of interest, wait for the schematic, take the entry. So, I mean, off the top of my head, just looking at it, all these damn entries come either through London crossover or at New York sessions. So, yeah, pretty clean entries. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, eventually she's going to have to make her way back up though. Yeah. Eventually she's going to have to make her way back up into that. That's probably your next sell off, the big one at least. Okay. Let's see what you got, bro. Was waiting for the manipulation say on NAS. There was a type 1 in there on the seconds, but nothing for me to take since it was only the second drive. Yeah, bro. I didn't take anything for the buy on NAS. Wait, where were you? Oh yeah. No. For me, I was waiting. Yeah. This right here, there was nothing for me to take. Yeah, there was nothing for me to take. And then I tried catching that short, but she never came back for me. Okay. Yeah. All right. So where was I? We talked about NCAD. We talked about so EG real quick. Here's my, I honestly don't know if I'm going to do anything with EG. It is in the area, right? This is the last manipulation. Here's the 80% of the entire move. So we're there. We're in an accumulation. Let me just see where we're at with it. Where are we? We are, yeah. I mean, I do not like the fact that Asian lows is intact. And realistically, if we sweep Asian lows, so for me, what I was waiting for, I've got an alert up here because if we do, if we would have broken this, then I would have played, looking to come back into this. Yeah, I honestly have no desire to really do anything with EG. For me, we're dealing with two very weak currencies. We're dealing with, if you look at what GU and EU are doing, they've literally fallen out of an airplane without a parachute, right? So like I really don't want to deal too much with EG. So I mean, it's looking like an accumulation. We definitely have there's a reason, or there is a, the analysis is definitely buys on it. I just don't know if I want to really give a lot of my time and effort to try to buy EG. I'd rather just stick to trying to sell GU and EU, So on indices, right? On the indices side, real quick, I just kind of, let's see. And I'm going to apologize now because these charts are a mess, man, because I've been doing a lot of work on them. All right. So realistically, this is where I want to sell from, right? That's my next sell. And if we look at what the market's done, right? So, we make this low. So this is the distro that's in here, right? That's ideally what I'm anticipating and looking at, right? Hold on, let's see. There we go. We break order flow here. So we're in this leg, right? Price comes back in perfectly into our slingshot. And then what do? We accumulate, right? And there's 1 drive, 2 drive, 3 drive spring, and we break. So now my anticipation is that we come lower, reaccumulate, take out this high, come back down and mitigate, come up in here where we ultimately sell off to make our new leg, right? That's if Santa Claus wants to give me a Christmas gift, this is what I want, right? That's how I want Dow Jones to play out, indices across the board to play out. So if we can get that, great. What I was looking at this morning, right? Obviously, I was looking to see, can we get a buy? Hold on, let's see. Can we get a buy out of, again, area of demand, which we saw some really good pre-market move. The only issue is that when price fails to take out supply, right? Because this is the redistribution. Yeah, when we fail to take out supply and then we distribute, yeah, I'm no longer looking for buys out of this, because this accumulation was just the cause of price giving up to the area of supply to ultimately distribute itself out. So, I try to catch it. Unfortunately, it just never came back. So as soon as we broke the low, I was game on trying to catch this right here, and that's as high as she got before collapsing on me. So let's see. Price mitigate. Yeah, but at that point, it's not worth it for me. So yeah. Yeah. For me, this was the manipulation, because at this point we're in bullish order flow still. So, had this distribution been in a better area of supply where I was going to do a little better with it, I would have played it. But yeah, for me, this wasn't something on the table for me. Right. Especially, yeah. 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 I mean, recognizing it that, yeah, this was the mitigation. Yeah. All day long. That's as soon as price did that and then collapsed, I deleted my orders because I knew we weren't coming back. So I was kind of holding out hope that this was the accumulation that was in here, because you could see we come right into that 80%. And I was hoping that gets us up into here. But as soon as we collapsed, that was it. It was done for me. But pretty decent comparable strength divergence. If you can see that U30 had made the higher highs, where on SPX and NASDAQ we were making lower lows with it. So it was pretty clean. What I'll probably be looking for tomorrow is, like I said, I'm going to be looking, come on. There we go. So I'm going to be looking for the potential buys now out of this leg right here. So I want to see price. Come on. There we go. I want to see price come back to mitigate this, right? You can see my alert sitting right here. Do we get price back in here for us to make our next leg and take out this high? That's going to be the question. If we could do that, great. In a Wyckoff schematic, either dist or accumulation, price doesn't really give an entry. How are you able to get into trades? So yeah, my entry is the test. My entry will always be the test of the spring or the UCAD. And if it doesn't test it, and no trade. Yeah. Yeah. So the only entry I'll take out of a schematic is the test entry, right? It'll be the test of the spring or the test of the UCAD. And if price just collapses from there or goes bullish from it without testing, then so be it. I'll play the continuation moves. I'll play the redistros or the reaccumulations. So am I bullish on high? No, heck no, man. No. I'm waiting for the big sell, man. I'm waiting for my big sell right here. All right. Well, okay. I'll take that back. Higher time frame, yes, we are bullish. Absolutely, we're bullish. We haven't changed higher time frame in years. So this is where I want to sell from, right here. That's my distro that I want to sell from. So I'm just playing. I'm holding. I don't know. I'm holding a crap ton of shorts on all indices. The last ones were from right in here. Right. So I'm holding the shorts. That's why I can play the buys all day long. But yeah, no, higher time frame. Absolutely. We're bullish as can be. We're bullish from here, from the COVID drop. This is our higher time frame leg. So ideally 27K is where I want to get down to. And heck, if we can get down to the 80%, I'll tell you what, I'll write a book. I'll write a book on 80% if we get down to here and we do something like this. But yeah, higher time frame. We're absolutely bullish. Are you? Yeah. Where did the? Yeah. A lot of, I'd say it took me about close to 3,000 charts of back testing and journaling to figure out the 80%. So yeah. So that's my plan. I'm just going to keep walking this down. So, at least I know for me personally, I'm holding more SPX sells than US 30 sells, but yeah, I'm definitely in a couple of shorts, and I'm going to continue to hold them. So the game plan for me though is, see if we can get price. Where's she at? See if we can get price into this price action down here, right? And then that's where I want to make and kind of hold this to the next buy. So all of these buys here, I've taken partials when we broke all of this. So, they're relatively at no risk. And then it's just going to be, it's just going to be a matter of just waiting it out. Yeah. So, and then SPX is the same thing, SPX didn't give me any kind of opportunity to short it today. All I did was just mitigate, right into the money on the redistro. And then, it ultimately redistributed again. So same thing. I want to see this walk itself down back into the same price action. So, U30 created the spring, right? Because this is, 1 drive, 2 drive, 3 drive. This is essentially your, your STB here, where U30 actually sweeps it. So you got the divergence on U30. But this is the leg that we're sitting in right here. So I do want to see us get down into this area. Maybe we sell off and then we start seeing that evidence here to take this up. That's where I'm going to be looking. I'm not looking to short out of anything here. At this point, it's, when we were up at the premium, it was all right for me to short it down into the area where I wanted to buy. But now we're kind of in the area where we're getting close to that 50% of this. So we could start seeing the buys. So I'm not real interested in shorting anything until we confirm a break of order flow to the downside. So that's really what I'm going to be playing with SPX. And same thing, my big short that I want to, really position myself into is going to be out of here. This is going to be the one that I want to, ideally again, walk price up, we break, come back to mitigate, come up, the distribution here, which gets me down to this leg, right? That's what I want to really target. And then NASDAQ's going to be the same play. I want to see, there we go. I want to see, can we get up? This is the short that I'm holding here, and I've got a ton of buy orders that I'm in as well from here. So I want to I'm kind of just playing, the ping pong game with them. And I mean, this is what I want to see. Do we get here, right? Clean distro, we're walking this down. We've broken this already. So that means that this is the only thing on the table for me. So we get down into this area. That's what I want to target to go to the highs. And if, of course, like I said, if we break it, all right, different story then, but I do want to look for the buys either tomorrow or the following day. And I'm going to be targeting the new high, make a new leg with them. So it's just going to be patience with it. NASDAQ, I mean, last week, NASDAQ gave some just phenomenal moves. I mean, going back to just this move in here, this was a piece of cake. And I was really lazy with this entry simply because I was playing US 30, but this was just a super clean schematic. I mean, this was, you have your trading range, you have your spring, just measure out the spring and boom, there's your 80% entry. Bye-bye, she goes, so this was, I don't even know what this went up to. Like, well, I know it's well over a 1 to 23 because we ended up coming way higher, but on NASDAQ, that was only a 16-point stop on a pretty decent schematic. The one that really gave a super clean entry was the previous one, which was down in here. Where is she at? Right here. So this is the one that gave the flipping entry. Heck, I don't even know. Where did NASDAQ come up to? NASDAQ came up to, so NAS came up to 12,175. So when price came in there, yeah, this was that entry there. So super clean accumulation. This was my 50 and my 80 that I was trying to get price into, and we get that. So I mean, this was, I mean, the 80 entry was So, I mean, that was a 1 to 290 just to the high from, I think, yesterday. So super clean accumulation, you know, split risk off the 50 and 80, but I mean, we smack dab right into that 80. It was a beautiful entry. So you're holding 0.3 on DRUR. Yeah, good, man. Good. Absolutely, man. Yeah, I know a bunch of us. Like I said, I think last week, all three of them, it was one of those where I didn't have enough time to get positioned into all the trades, you know. So I kind of, you know, I have my progression, you know, it all starts, you know, my personal account, and then it goes to my TPT account, and then it goes to my FTMO account. And then I jump over to, you know, the next chart. So I wasn't able to get into everything last week, but they gave really good price action, you know. So same thing here, you know, what I wanted to see, what I want to see at least is I want to see us get back into this, right? I mean, we need to trade here. Let this bad boy come in here, and you know, I'll take it to the next high. So, and that's pretty much it. That's everything I'm looking at. I don't know if anybody else has anything else that they're looking at. I mean, this is, like I said, when I looked at the week, you know, I saw that we had some really good Canadian, some Australian, some Kiwi and dollar news coming up. You really put that together to find the pairs that I wanted to trade. And, you know, for me, these were the cleanest looking price action charts that I can find that, you know, I'm either already positioned in and just playing continuation plays on them, you know. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I'm looking at. I don't know if anybody else, like I said, has anything else, any other questions, but other than that, I mean, you know, we should have a pretty decent volatile week, should have, you know, some good price action, and then go from there, you know. Yeah, and that's pretty much everything on ETH. What about ETH, man? I mean, I'm pretty comfortable in saying that crypto is just going to continue to come lower until we get out of the summer months, you know. Yeah, I mean, I personally, I think ETH is setting itself up for some tremendous. I'll tell you this, you know, not financial advice. All the ETH that I mine, I'm swapping it for other coins. I am not going to be holding any kind of Ethereum when it goes proof of stake. So, you know, and you know, the merge has been delayed again. You know, we'll see what happens, but yeah, I want nothing to do with ETH. On the BTC side, yeah, I mean, nothing's changed. I mean, my anticipation is that we come to, I mean, this is where I'm waiting in this box right here. This box is where I'm waiting. So between like 5,700 and maybe like 9K is where I'm waiting. This right here. So we'll see. I mean, I'm anticipating that we probably accumulate here. Oh, no, that's not what I want to do. We probably accumulate here. Right. That's honestly what this is going to be for me. It's going to be an accumulation. Now, the question is, do we get back up to like 30K to sell off to get down? You know, that's what ideally I'm going to be looking to see. Silver and gold. Yeah, nothing's changed on silver and gold. Gold to me is just a complete mess, but silver's easy, right? Silver is easy. I'm bearish as crap on silver, and physically I'm buying silver when we get back down into like the 15 and 16 range, right? That's where I'm going to be looking. But yeah, this thing's selling off. I don't trade silver because all my brokers have stupid spreads on silver, so it's pointless for me to trade it. Yeah, gold on the other hand, gold is a mess. You know, good luck trying to figure out what the heck gold's. Let's see, one that doesn't have all the back tests on it. Maybe this one. Yeah, I honestly haven't marked up gold in a minute. But yeah, we're coming down into this area right here. 1500s is where I'm anticipating us coming down to. So I'm bearish on them. I have no desire to trade them. You missed the short at 22,420, but I got an ETH. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin. I'll tell you right now. For me, I can guarantee you that Bitcoin gets down to that, well, I'll tell you this, I've already earmarked to buy a couple of coins when we get here. So I will be buying coins there. And then, yeah, I mean, I really wasn't worried about, or I didn't want to invest into any more coins up here. But, I mean, we're talking, if it gets down to this 80%, we're talking almost a 2000% price appreciation. So I'm 100% right here. I'm all about that. And at that point, Bitcoin becomes more of a better asset for me to invest in. So yeah. Am I buying? Yeah. Yeah. I've been buying physical silver for years. I'd rather buy silver than gold. Now, granted, from a density aspect of it, gold is the way to go, right? It's valued more density wise, but you're looking at a better price appreciation to all-time highs on silver than you are on gold. You know, silver, I think, is like a 200% increase, where gold to all-time highs is something like 48 or 58%. So yeah. Oil, I don't trade oil. You know, like TPT doesn't let you trade oil. FTMO spread on oil is crap. And you know, I keep my hands busy with indices, but oil's bullish. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, man. Oil is bullish. You know, where are we at? Let's see. So what's my next leg? My next leg. Yeah, so it's got to come down. I don't see it coming down very much lower, but you know, ideally into this leg. But yeah, no, we're going to continue to go higher with this. So can I share? Yeah. I use what is it? AmpMex. Yeah. So this is who I buy from. They'll, if you buy enough of it, it's actually pretty good. So if you go to, hold on. So they'll store it for you, and it's actually pretty darn cheap. You don't have to have, I think 25K is the lowest. Yeah. So if you don't want to, you know, pay for a safe, if you don't want to, you know, house it at your own residence or something like that, if you have 25,000 worth of assets, they're only charging you $180 a year. To put it in perspective, like my gun safe that I have cost me a little over $2,000. So, you know, and I can't house it. I'll tell you right now, I can't house a lot of silver in there. You know, I do, but yeah, I mean, this isn't too bad, you know, for, you know, and you can write it off as well. You know, it's pretty decent to write it off. But this is where I buy it at. Now, just keep in mind, I mean, they are a reputable dealer, but you're not paying spot price for it. You know, even on silver right now, I mean, still probably like it's $24 an ounce, where, you know, on the silver chart, what are we talking here? On the silver chart, I mean, it's at 18. Yeah, they need to start catching this up, because this is nowhere close spot price, you know. And I think it's just because it's selling off so rapidly. But yeah, I'm going to be purchasing more. I've bought a ton of silver bars, silver coins. You know, the American Eagles, they don't make those anymore. You know, they changed the original ones they don't make anymore. They changed the mint on it. So yeah, those are nice little collector items as well. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. But this is where I've been buying from them for years. So, and they'll ship it anywhere. Yeah, you got it. All right. Well, cool. Well, listen, yeah, absolutely. Have a great week. If you guys need anything, hit me up in the chats. I'll try to answer them as quick as I can. Just keep in mind, I mean, somebody gave me a little grief because I like waited 2 days to message them back, but they were like I think like 297 on the list of people that had messaged me. So yeah, just keep in mind when people message me, I don't purposely do it. I just don't have time a lot to get through a lot of it. So, but yeah, all in all, have a great week. Trade safe. Remember risk management, and yeah, you know, enjoy your time. So have a great one, and I'll catch everybody on the next one.